even the poverty line is so high compared to poor countries that even to get people to the poverty line, it will be too costly to give it to everyone. For the United States, for example, it has been calculated that even suppose you want to give $10,000 as basic income to everyone, the whole budget will go, maybe even more. But $10,000 is even below the poverty line in the United States. I think the United States poverty line for individual is about $13,000, which is not the case in poor countries. It's because the poor countries, the poverty line is really very low. Secondly, what I propose, that this money has to be funded not by fresh taxation. Many poor countries give a lot of subsidies to the rich. And for India, the estimate is more than 10% of GDP is given as subsidies to the better off, to richer people. And I showed that if you can take that away from the rich and then give it to everybody, rich or poor, it's not a very insignificant amount, because India's per capita income is low. So, at 10% of GDP, if you distribute, it comes to a significant part of the poverty line. So yes, that is one of the main objections in Europe and the United States, is that will then make two classes of citizens. One will be the hard-working people, and the other is the lazy people who will just get money from the government. Even in the rich country, this is probably not a very strong argument. My own feeling is that it will be such a small part of their total income, this will not be a big disincentive to work. The reason this is not as applicable to poor countries is that in poor countries, if anything, most of the very poor are overworked. Sometimes they work 15, 16, 17 hours a day. It's because their current jobs, the pay is very little. It could be a wage work, or it could be self-employed. You have a little shop, you don't sell much. You are a street vendor. You don't sell much, at the end of the day you get a small amount. But still you do it because you have no better opportunity. If you get a basic income, then that will give you the opportunity to look for better work. So it's not that you will work less, it is more that it will change the kind of work you do. So this would be a way to organize workers. At the moment, the majority of workers in poor countries are informal sector workers. They are not quite often unionized. The unionized part is a small part. Number two, women's position is low because they don't earn much. Quite often zero, quite often they don't earn much. And they do not get paid anything. Here at least there will be something in their bank account coming. It's a basic income. So this will be a way of recognizing the hard work of half of the people in a country. This will give them autonomy. This will improve the status of women all over the world. Its source is economic, but the effect will be social. So I'm thinking more politically. That basic income, I know it's not very realistic, but this may be a platform for organizing the workers. Even in poor countries, it cannot start for the whole country. I think one should start some experiments. Some experiments have already been made. One reason they carried out experiments, and this is not basic income, they said, if we give people cash, what do they do with the cash? Now there are some experiments on that. So the people used to say that if you give poor people cash, they are going to use it in drinks or gambling, etc. Now the experimental evidence suggests there will be some people who will misuse it, but the majority don't. And that's the experimental evidence.